stroke, it can strike without warning. One moment you're fine. The next, your life changes forever. And here's the shocking truth. 3 common foods, eaten by millions of seniors every single day, can silently trigger this deadly brain attack. It's like pouring gasoline on sparks inside the brain. Until one night, it erupts. Most people over 60 have no idea they're putting themselves at risk. With every bite, you might not notice it at first. But it's there. If you're over 60, you've probably heard of stroke before. Maybe a neighbor, a friend at church, or even someone in your own family. It's not just a health scare, it's the #1 reason many seniors lose their independence. And the frightening part is, doctors now say that the foods behind this risk aren't rare or exotic. They're sitting right in our kitchens. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. Martha is 67. A retired school teacher in Ohio. She spends her mornings on the front porch, sipping drip coffee while watching her neighbors walk their dogs. Life feels steady, familiar, safe. Every Sunday, she joins her church potluck. Casseroles, pies, and potato salads line the long folding tables. For Martha, it's more than food. It's tradition, community, love on a paper plate. But here's what nobody at those tables realizes. One of the dishes Martha eats almost every week is quietly fueling tiny sparks of inflammation inside her brain. Doctors call them silent strokes. They don't always show up with slurred speech or drooping faces. Sometimes they creep in as little lapses, forgetting why you walked into a room, mixing up a familiar name, feeling slower when balancing your checkbook. Martha laughed it off at first. Just senior moments, she told her daughter. But last winter, while walking back from the farmer's market with a bag of apples, she suddenly couldn't remember which street led home. It lasted only minutes, but it left her shaken. Her doctor later explained. These foods she trusted, the ones she grew up with, can act like gasoline on hidden fires in the brain. Over time, the damage builds. And when the flame finally catches, it's no longer silent. It's a full-blown stroke. So what are these foods? Let's go through them one by one. The first silent trigger is processed meat. Bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli ham, salami. For many Americans, these foods carry memories. Saturday morning breakfast with bacon and eggs, ballpark hot dogs in the summer, or quick deli sandwiches at lunch. But behind the taste and tradition lies a dangerous truth. Processed meats are loaded with sodium and nitrates. Sodium, in high amounts, acts like a vice on your blood vessels. It makes them stiff and narrow, forcing blood pressure higher and higher. Over years, that constant pressure weakens the delicate vessels inside the brain, like bending a garden hose until cracks start to form. Nitrates and nitrites, used as preservatives, make the damage even worse. In the body, they turn into compounds that attack the lining of arteries, sparking inflammation and oxidative stress. Think of it as sandpaper scraping the inside of your blood vessels. You may not feel it, but slowly, the walls grow weaker and more fragile. The American Heart Association warns that just 2 servings of processed meat per week can significantly raise the risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. And studies from the Journal of Neurology confirm that seniors with diets high in nitrates face higher rates of silent strokes, tiny brain injuries that add up over time, leading to memory problems, confusion, and eventually a major stroke. It doesn't stop there. Processed meats are also high in saturated fat, which contributes to plaque buildup. That plaque narrows arteries, creating the perfect trap for clots. And when a clot blocks blood flow to the brain, that's when disaster strikes. So what can you do? Here are some simple swaps. Instead of deli ham, choose freshly roasted turkey breast. Replace bacon with avocado slices or a hard-boiled egg at breakfast. Use grilled chicken, tuna, or hummus in sandwiches instead of cold cuts. Save hot dogs and sausages for rare occasions, not weekly habits. Each small choice lowers the pressure on your arteries. Each swap reduces the hidden sparks that feed inflammation. Because here's the truth. Processed meats aren't just salty snacks. For the brain, they're time bombs. Every bite is another turn of the clock toward stroke. And it's not only salty meats. The next danger is much sweeter, but just as destructive. The second hidden danger is refined sugar, the kind found in sodas, pastries, candy bars, and even cereals that claim to be healthy. For many, sugar feels comforting. A slice of apple pie after Sunday dinner. Sweet iced tea on the porch in July. But inside the brain, sugar acts more like poison than pleasure. Here's the science. Every time you eat sugar, glucose floods your bloodstream. That spike forces your pancreas to release insulin to push the sugar into cells. At first, it works. But over years, the body stops responding. This is called insulin resistance. And when the brain doesn't respond, neurons are starved of energy. That's when memory slips, brain fog, and confusion appear. It gets worse. High sugar levels stiffen arteries, making them brittle. They also thicken the blood, increasing the chance of clots. That clot can travel and block a vessel in the brain, a stroke. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show that seniors with high added sugar intake face up to 30% higher risk of both stroke and dementia. For the brain, sugar is not sweet fuel. It's gasoline on a hidden fire, but there are ways to protect yourself. Instead of soda, drink water with lemon or unsweetened tea. Swap cookies for fresh berries or a handful of nuts. Use cinnamon or vanilla to sweeten oatmeal instead of sugar. Even one small swap a day lowers inflammation and protects the brain. And here's something important. Many low-fat or healthy foods are loaded with hidden sugars. Yogurts, sauces, breads. Always check the labels. If sugar is one of the first 3 ingredients, it's time to think twice. It's more common than people realize. And that's why we talk about it here. CTA_subscribe. If you want more life-saving health tips like this, make sure to subscribe. It could be the choice that protects your memory, your independence, even your life. And if sugar is dangerous, the third food is even more offensive. It's the one doctors now warn may be the biggest silent trigger of stroke in seniors. The third and most dangerous food is trans fats, often hidden in margarine, packaged snacks, fried fast food, and even some microwave popcorn. For decades, these foods have been part of everyday American life. Movie nights with buttery popcorn. Drive-through burgers after a long day. Donuts brought to the office break room. But behind those traditions lies the strongest stroke trigger. Of them all, trans fats are artificial oils created to extend shelf life. But inside the body, they act like a chemical storm. They raise LDL, the bad cholesterol that clogs arteries, while lowering HDL, the good cholesterol that protects them. The result? Arteries become narrow, stiff, and coated with plaque. Blood struggles to move. And one small clot can suddenly block the brain's lifeline. Journal of Gerontology reports that seniors with diets high in trans fats face nearly 50% greater risk of stroke and memory decline. Unlike salt or sugar, there's no safe level. Even small amounts build up in the body like rust on metal, weakening the system until something breaks. And here's the most alarming part. Trans fats don't just damage arteries. They trigger neuroinflammation, an invisible fire in the brain. For many, the first signs aren't chest pain or numbness. It's forgetting familiar routes, struggling to find words, or losing focus in the middle of a conversation. These are often brushed off as normal aging, but in reality, they can be early warning signs of silent strokes. So what can you do? Replace margarine with real olive oil or avocado oil. Skip microwave popcorn and air pop your own with herbs. Avoid fried fast food and choose grilled or baked instead. Read labels carefully. If you see partially hydrogenated oil, put it back on the shelf. Every time you cut out trans fats, you're protecting your arteries, your memory, And your independence, because here's the truth. Sugar may burn slowly, but trans fats are dynamite. For seniors over 60, they are the most offensive, the most dangerous, and often the most overlooked dot. So what happens when you begin to take these foods out of your life? When you start removing these foods, it's like the fog in your mind begins to lift, and the sun comes back out. You feel sharper in conversations, more present with your family, more confident when driving or handling your checkbook. Little by little, your brain feels lighter, calmer, more you, and it's not just about memory. Many seniors notice steadier energy, better sleep, and even fewer mood swings. Imagine walking through the farmer's market, enjoying the colors and smells, without the crash that comes from sugar or fried food. It's not about losing traditions. It's about gaining clarity, strength, and years of independence you deserve. If that's what you want, here's what to do next. Stroke is called the silent killer for a reason. You may never see it coming, until one morning you can't button your shirt, or you can't remember your own address. But here's the truth. You have more power than you think. By cutting out processed meats, hidden sugars, and trans fats, you're not just lowering numbers on a chart. You're protecting your mind, your independence, and the freedom you've earned. Picture yourself sitting on the front porch, watching the sunset, talking with your grandchildren. Clear, present, and strong. That's the life you deserve to hold on to. Share this before it's too late. Someone you love could be eating these foods right now, without knowing the danger, because in the end, it's not just about memory. It's about preventing the silent stroke that could take it all away.